And we have a bit of insight into how some Americans felt about President Biden's speech to Congress. CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, joins me now. Hi there, Anthony. So how have Americans been responding to the president's address?
Hey there, Elaine. You all were talking about the president's polling in the last segment, so that was a very nice segue here because we have some new polling. What we did was we talked to a sample, representative sample of the audience nationwide who watched the speech, and they liked what they heard. We got 85% approving of the speech. Now, I've got to add right off the bat here that, as is typical with presidential speeches, a lot of his own partisans made up the bulk of the audience. So this audience was majority Democrats watching it. And, you know, for context, back when President Trump was giving speeches, a lot of Republicans watched those. So you've got to know that behind these numbers. But that said, the audience said that they liked what they heard. And then how did they describe it? Well, this is a word we found in other polling. And again, in this one, people using to describe Joe Biden: presidential, caring in this case. Many thought the speech was inspiring. And then this one, folks have been talking about where his plans, big, were the things that people wanted. And this word bold was used by 80% of the audience, too. So to that extent, he kind of hit his mark. If he wanted to convey bold, it seems like he did, Elaine.
Interesting. Well, what did people make, Anthony, of the tone of President Biden's speech? Did they feel he was unifying in his remarks?
Yes, that also came up. We also did see unifying. And of course, that's been one of his campaign promises, right? To be unifying to the country, to reach out, to be bipartisan. And we've seen in the national polling that led up to this, people did think that he was reaching out to Republicans. And I want to show you this, too, because, look, the pocketbook always matters for voters, right? Is this going to be something that helps you? Well, in this case, among speech watchers, we got this 74% who told us tonight that they thought that what Joe Biden proposed was something that would directly help them. So, again, very receptive. And I want to add this, Elaine, because this was really interesting. You all noted throughout the evening that this was an historic night, right? In that the women were vice president and Speaker of the House sitting there with Joe Biden, and 73% of speech watchers said that made them feel proud.
So interesting, Anthony. Well, can you walk us through how you're able to compile this data so quickly? Because it wasn't that long ago that the president wrapped up his speech.
That's right. And thank you for that. So what happens is, in the lead up to the speech and the days leading up to it, we do a nationally representative sample of people, and we ask them if they're going to watch the speech. And then if they are, we ask them if they'll take a survey right after it. And if they agree to that, then when the speech is over, we ping them right back. They get an email, they get an alert, and they take the speech, they take the poll right after the speech and tell us what they thought. So we balance that so that it is representative of all speech watchers, no matter what their composition was going to be. And then they tell us what they thought. Like I said, one of the things that stands out always is that the president's own partisans watch. So again, in this case, a lot of Democrats were watching, so a lot of Democrats were weighing in here, but that's par for the course. That is par for the course. And so overall, you get that audience that says, okay, they like what they heard, as is also par for the course, as is also very typical in a lot of these speeches, Elaine.
All right, Anthony Salvanto. Anthony, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thanks.